y'all. Welcome back. This is Michelle from Michelle's Empty Nest, and today we are going to continue working in my 2021 December Daily Album. I am getting close to the end and I don't want to give up. I know it will eventually be finished, and last year I did Christmas in July to finish it up. I know some people do the done by December, kind of along with the community, and I don't know, maybe it's October and November. But I am really ready just to go ahead and stick with it through this part of January and get these last stories told and get everything put away, packed up, get it on the shelf, and just be, one less thing on my list of to-dos. So today I actually have 4 stories. They're going to be S, T, U, and V. S is basically done. T is very short, and then U and V are both going to be fairly quick, I'm fairly certain. So I thought I would go ahead and just get all 4 of these into one video. So I will go ahead and tell you that story S is done because I changed the name from Special Night Out to Stupid COVID because 2 of my boys came down with COVID shortly before Christmas, and we were concerned that they were going to still be sick or maybe miss Christmas with us. And so, there were just some feelings and emotions there. They are over it. They are well. I think they had the new variant that is kind of just more of a slight flu, head cold type thing, more than a serious lung issue. So they are perfectly fine and healthy, praise the Lord. But I did not want to put, particularly which 2 of my boys had it, put their names or that kind of thing. So I used this little craft envelope and I put a Velcro dot there, and then I have just a little journaling card down inside. It was a 4x6 card, and I think I maybe cut about 1/2 inch of it off so that it would fit in there with the holes. So that story will not be shared, so that's why it's already done, just to respect their privacy. If it was me, I wouldn't mind sharing with you. I've always said I intend to be authentic and open and honest as much as possible. But just for their privacy, I didn't want to share, their names or their story. So, okay, now that that's over and done with, let's go ahead and get on fast forward, and we'll get these other 3 stories put together. So, let's do it. Okay, guys, these 4 come together very quickly. As I said, S is taken care of. So I'm going on to story T, which is 10 things or 10 things I love. And I just took a sheet of 8.5 by 11 red vellum and cut out that portion that's missing and scored what was left to create the pocket. And I'm using some of these transparent hearts from the December Daily Kit this year. I made sure to pull that film off the back so that my adhesive would work, and that's a vellum, or you can use it for vellum or transparencies or things like that, and it doesn't show up quite as much. I took it over to my machine, stitched the pocket closed, and then zigzag stitched the hearts on just to make sure they would stay, and that one was done. So for story U, that is Ugly Sweater. And it's so funny because back in the 90s, I had a ton of ugly Christmas sweaters that I wore to work all the time when we just called them Christmas sweaters. It was before they were considered to be ugly. So it's just funny now that, that's what it's become. I wish I had some of those left, but I've gotten rid of those long ago. So I changed my mind from how I was going to do this one originally. So it ends up being a little sparse, but it's okay. It's done and dusted. It's in the album and we're moving on. So V is for vintage, and I'm talking about a vintage Coca-Cola Santa Claus. My dad worked for Coca-Cola. You'll hear that when I read the journaling. um, for over 40 years before he retired. I think it was about 43 years that he worked. And I started off trimming this down to leave a white border because I thought I had sized it to be able to trim it down to 8.25 by 7 with the white border. Turns out I didn't, so I just went ahead and cut the border off, and that's okay. I went away and did my journaling on the back of that star that had the Santa hats on it. And then I'm now covering the sheet on the what would be the back of that photo paper, all of that right there together. I'm going to back that with that ornament paper, side showing. So I'm using some Suquang score tape, and I'll get that adhered in place. I keep forgetting to do that little trick where you just take off like 1 or 2 pieces and make it a little easier to get your paper in position before it all sticks down, but it ended up being okay. I cut it a little big, and I knew that on a couple of sides, so I trimmed down one side that was too big on the stripe paper, and then one side that was too big on the ornament paper. And then I'm going to get the holes punched and get that one put back in the album. And that part is done. And then I decide to go and grab an Avery index tab, and I use that December Daily Tiny Phrases stamp that I have used for just about every single Avery index tab I've ever done, even though it's December Daily, and I say that in every video that I use it. And so I just pick a word, a stamp that says tradition, stamp that on both sides, and then I struggle to get this one into the little tab itself, but once I finally get it into the tab, I get that in place. I was showing you the name there of the stamp set, and that's going to finish me up. So there'll be close-ups at the end as well as over on Instagram, and I will be back to talk to you in just a second. Bye, guys. Okay, that's where I'm going to call all 4 of these done. You can tell I'm not doing a lot of embellishing. I haven't done a lot throughout the album for the most part. There's been a couple of layouts that were a little bit more embellishment heavy, but I've really just kind of kept things a little simpler for the most part, and so that was true for these as well. So we already talked about the COVID for S, stupid COVID, and I don't like the word stupid, but in this case it fit. And then 10 things, and so I had this vellum pocket. I just made it out of a sheet of vellum paper, 8.5 by 11, and I just cut and then scored to make my pocket and stitched around it, stitched these little hearts on. And my 10 things that I love are seeing our boys thrive as adults, the anticipation for 2022, because I actually made this list before it was 2022, living out my one little word this year, new opportunities before me, our girls, which means 2 dogs and 2 cats, the crafty community, skinny syrups, which I love in my coffee, good for diabetics, 0 sugar. Finding my tribe slowly but surely. It's been a while since I feel like I've had a tribe. Once I left my teaching job and kind of left, just the daily workforce, and live in a town. Well, it's not even a town. We just live in a little area where we did not grow up and did not know everyone. And so it's been a while since I feel like I've had a tribe. So slowly but surely that's coming back. Animal Crossing, I'm addicted to that game. And then Olin, always and forever, and that is my husband. And then for Ugly Sweater, I contemplated cutting down this paper. Originally, I had sketched out that I was going to do like a flip-up type waterfall and have a few different photos. The photos were not that great from this day. This was about the best one I could get, and it's not really all that clear. I'm not sure what was going on. The cats were playing around at my camera, so they may have been bumping it. I don't know. So I just did this one, which I think I did it about 5 by 7. So I thought about just cutting it down, but I thought, well, I've got these stickers that are just perfect. They say Ugly Sweater Christmas, or Ugly Christmas Sweater Party. And then there's a sweater, and then I put this nice-ish speech bubble. So I just decided to go with those 3 little embellishments and leave it at that. Backed it with some paper that kind of has a vintage look, which I thought led well into V for vintage. And when I saw this star with the Santa hat, I knew that I wanted to use it right away to tell this story. I told a story last year about an older vintage item, and I wanted to do the same thing again this year. So real quickly on that, my journaling just says, this old Santa Claus from the Coca-Cola Company has been around almost as long as I have. Daddy worked for Coke for over 40 years before he finally retired. We had every toy, t-shirt, trinket, etc. that Coke put out, which was a lot way back then. This Santa has lost his bottle of Coke and looks a little worn out, but he holds a very special place in my heart. And so he is, I probably could clean him up some more, but he's old. He's almost 50 years old. I'm pretty sure, because I know we had this when I was very young. Don't know where his bottle of Coke went, but he has been around for every Christmas that I can remember. And I will continue to keep him around as long as he is holding up in one piece. So that's going to finish up these stories. So let's see. W, I can't remember what W is right off the top of my head, but I have W, X, Y, and Z plus Christmas Eve and Christmas Day and a couple of closing pages. So still a few videos yet to come, but I am going to finish this up before the end of January. That is a promise for sure. So I appreciate you stopping by so very much today. And if you enjoyed the video, I would love a thumbs up down below. And please consider hitting that subscribe button if you haven't already and become a part of my little YouTube family. We are growing and I love it. And I'm so thankful for each and every one of you. And you being here today means more to me than you will ever know, I promise. There will be close-ups at the end as well as over on Instagram. And I'd love for you to follow me over there as well. And until I see you in the next video, take care of yourself, do something good for yourself, and I'll see you soon. Bye-bye.